Hello everybody, this is HD, and today I'll be casting a StarCraft 2 matchup, of course. It is going to be a best of 5 here from the Gigabyte Invitational number 2, and we have got two great legends in their own right here. On the left-hand side of the map, we have EG.Thorzain. This is the scientist Terran, one of the best players outside of Korea today, and playing now for Evil Geniuses. And that is Thorzain. Going to be very excited to see how he plays up because he's going against Fnatic.Moon. And yes, this is the same Moon that played those epic, notorious battles against Grubby back in Warcraft 3. If you guys were wondering, is this the same Moon? It is. Moon versus Grubby, one of the household names, household phrases, if you will, in esports today. So obviously both of those guys making their move away from Warcraft 3 and then moving into StarCraft 2, and Grubby's been doing pretty well for himself. I haven't really casted too many games of Moon, so I'm really interested to see how he does here. And yes, by the way, he is South Korean, if you didn't know that. A lot of people for some reason think Moon isn't, but he is South Korean and trying to make a bigger name for himself here in StarCraft 2. Now, Thorzain, you know, one of the guys on EG, moving over. Speaking of EG, actually, the most recent addition to EG is actually Suppy, and he's a good friend of mine. I know him personally. One of the most talented players, I think, outside of Korea as well, especially, certainly in California. And he is a Zerg player, so I'm thinking maybe Thorzain has been getting a lot of practice, not just against, obviously, Suppy, but against Machine and Idra. So Thorzain's probably got some really talented TVZ now. It's always been one of his best matchups in my opinion, but he is very, very conservative. I think Thorzain is one of the most conservative, solid, tight, I'm going to build macro CCs everywhere kind of Terran that you will ever meet. In fact, he'll not only build macro CCs, but he'll also build double engineering bays and get a bunch of upgrades. So Thorzain is just that kind of player, and I honestly haven't seen too many games of Moon. I mentioned this before, so I don't know how this is going to play out, but I do know this is from the quarterfinals of Gigabyte's second invitational, and it is a best of 5, so it is going to be pretty fun and interesting, and I hope you guys are ready for this cast. The SCV has now made its way inside the base, and you know, it's just gonna see the hatchery and then the spawning pool, and this isn't too weird. You usually as Zerg want to get hatch and then pool. So everything looking standard on the Zerg side, and whoa, look at this! Thorzain going for a CC after racks, but it is not gasless, so it's not super greedy. But the interesting thing about it is he did build a command center right at the front. So he lifted off the racks and then replaced it with the command center. That's kind of cool. I wonder if I don't know why you would do that, because it does show the command center at the front door, and it kind of reveals that you are going for a CC anyways, but we'll see. We'll see what the plan is behind this. Maybe he just likes having a buff building at the front. We're not too sure, but he is going up with the factory now. Remember, he did not go gasless, so there is going to be some tech behind this. Perhaps the ruse here is that, hey, you see a CC at the front of my base, but in actuality, I am teching, and you might not know that if you only see a command center. You might think it's a gasless expand. Oh, and he saves the SCV too. Really nice job. I did not expect that. The SCV was stuck, but it was saved behind the barracks. But here we go. You know, Moon gets inside with the Overlord, and he sees the gas. So he knows now that it is, you know, there is some tech behind this, and he should be looking to get something to defend either against potentially starport play or the Hellion play. Probably going to be drops here. And there's another command center coming up. Whoa! Alright, well that I shouldn't be too surprised about that, because Thorzain is, like I said, it's the kind of player who just goes berserk with the command centers. He will go CC first. He will go doubles. I don't know if he's ever done double CC first, but I think he can do it. He's the kind of guy who can. He researches everything under the sun. That's why they call him the scientist Terran, because he tinkers around with every little thing inside his laboratory. And so this will be cool. And you know, Moon doesn't see that command center, so he doesn't exactly know that there is another CC inside the base, and that Thorzain really is looking to play a super heavy macro game. And right now, Moon does have 4 queens, and you know, the way that Zerg plays Terran nowadays, this is how you play against them. You get a billion queens out because queens with their extended range are so good. They can spread creep like no other. They obviously the only unit that can spread creep. They can also kill off Banshees. They can kill off Hellions very easily as well. So it shuts down a lot of the Terran harass that Zergs used to have trouble with. And oh, nice shot right there by Thorzain. Actually railgunned 2 of the creep tumors. And look at this, we have the fake Banshee upgrade coming out of the Starport Tech Lab, but it was cancelled. I guess he was trying to maybe psych out the Overlord, but then his Marine went up and ended up scaring it anyway, so he knew the Overlord wasn't going to get in there, and he would rather have the money back. Very interesting little mind games going on right now. Double engineering bait going up as well, no surprise there. This is Thorzain, ladies and gentlemen, and he is so greedy. He almost feels like he used to be a Zerg player and then decided to switch over to Terran, doesn't he? This is how I play Terran, at least. I just throw up macro CCs and double engineering bays, just upgrading like crazy all the time. And if we look at the SCV tab, he's really right on the heels of the Zerg, especially if you consider meals. This is like tied up right now. There is no differential at all. And oh, Banshee comes in through the backside, but there's a Spore Crawler, and it doesn't look like the Banshee only got 1 kill. So damage has been mitigated by Moon quite well, and he probably realized that Starport was a possibility because he sent that Overlord in and he saw the gas, and that's why he got the Evo chamber up for Spore Crawlers so quickly. So that was really smart by Moon. And you know, with the queens at the front door and all these creep tumors spreading out, unlikely that these Hellions are going to be able to do much damage at all. And Moon right now is working to get up to Zerglings, Banelings, and I think Mutas. Is there a Spire? There is no Spire. He's going to go Ling Infestor instead. I like that too. That's kind of, a lot of Zergs nowadays are seeming to shy away from Muta play, even against Terran, and actually using Mutas more against Protoss. The irony of it all, but because Mutas used to be used against Terran all the time in Brood War and in the early days of StarCraft 2, but kind of been changing a little bit. We'll see if Ling Infestor is going to be the win route here for the Zerg player. Thorzain just trying to do what he can to stop the spreading of the creep, and really, what can you do to stop cancer spreading? The finest doctors today cannot stop the spreading of cancer. But maybe the scientist Terran Thorzain can figure out a way. Maybe he can tinker around in his laboratory and figure out some devious plan to stop the tumors from spreading and infecting the entirety of the map. Hellions now encountering some queens in the middle, and the queens advancing quite far off creep. This is a little weird. Maybe he's just looking to hold the Xel'Naga Tower, but it is kind of risky to leave queens off creep like that. Thorzain now coming with a Banshee around the top side, and there is still that. Oh, that's actually a Viking now. They must have transformed into a Viking. Transformers. And now Banshee comes in and is going to look to do some damage against siege drones, but only 4 drone kills, nothing too serious, as the Queen will be able to repel that attack as well. But, you know, throughout all of this, you might be thinking, well, the Terran hasn't done much damage at all, guys. HD, the Terran has done nothing. But if you remember, Thorzain went so greedy that he is actually on par with the Zerg right now. He had that third up for a really long time, and he is really looking strong now. 129 supply to 130, and this push is so big at this point in the game. Will Moon be able to handle this? This is a really strong army with 1-1 and 2-2 on the way. The Zerglings are going to look to do a flank, but they have not even finished their 1 armor yet. But the supply depot wall was lowered. Oh my god, the Zerglings are going to be able to flood in, and Thorzain has to pull back. Meanwhile, he raises the watertight bulkheads at the natural, but it will not be enough to stop the flood, or will it? Actually, the Zerglings decide to run back, so I guess it was able to stop Compartment 2 from flooding. Sorry guys, I've been watching a lot of Titanic. Oh, I rewatched Titanic like 3 times for some reason. I'm kind of crazy like that. Going these little phases, these little spurts. Meanwhile, Zerg comes in and takes out the tanks in the middle of the map. Fungal Growth comes down, locking the Hellions in the tanks, and the Zerglings clean up the tank contain, if you can call it a contain. Whenever I see siege tanks, I guess, sieged up in the middle of the map on Antigua, I always think of it as a contain because it's a great spot for tanks. And Zerg doesn't want to let Terran stay there, so that was a really good job by Moon to break through, and he used his little backstab attacks to pull the army apart, and then he just broke through the tanks. Very nicely done by Moon, who is still lacking, I think, in the upgrade department, but it's okay because he's got so much map control right now. He's got the next base coming up. As long as he can fend off the drops now, because he certainly has pulled ahead by killing off that many tanks. If he can fend off these drops and start to catch up in his upgrade department, then he should be looking pretty good against Thorzain. And Thorzain right now gotta clean up those circlings at the rocks. Doesn't want to let another opening open to his command center. Now he's gonna go for that drop. And will he have enough firepower here to take out the CC before the Banelings and Infestors arrive? The Zerg is coming! Oh my god, Thorzain focus fire the hatchery before it's too late! And it is too late! He saves half of his Marines at the last second. But gotta be careful, that Infestor is there and it's gonna get the fungal. Oh my god, but there's only enough for one. And I think the medevacs might actually be able to make it out of there! One shot away from dying, and now the medevac will unload its cargo. Those Marines have got to be sweating bullets, man. I know if I was one of those Marines, I would. That's like a near-death experience in a plane crash. Come on now. And here comes Moon, trying to get a fungal. He cleans up the tanks. Nice job. I thought that was a little bit of an overextension with such a paltry army, but he got the tank and ran away. And now, whoa! What the hell are you doing, Moon? Losing 4 Infestors! Oh my goodness, that was a crippling blow. Do you know how much gas that is? And now Moon is going to have to clean up these Marines, but those Marines they just did their duty, man. They are valiant, heroic Marines. Killing off 4 Infestors, that's like 10 times the worth of a Marine. So, as sad as it is to be a Marine in his paltry, lonely existence, but here comes Moon with the Zerglings, and the Infestor's gonna blow through the tanks once again. And if there's one thing that Moon has just been doing so well this game, it has been the whipping of the tanks, man. He has been destroying them left and right, and the tank count is only at 3 right now. So, oh, that was good by Thorzain, though. He just killed off another hatchery. But, you know, Moon's still looking decent, I think, because he doesn't have to worry about that many tanks, and he's been picking them off left and right. So I don't know, this is a really close one, but Moon cannot let the CC go up in the middle of the map. That's such a staging platform for Thorzain, but the Banelings going in. Great spreading by Thorzain, and he gets his medevacs fungal. The planetary fortress is coming, and if it comes up, this PF will stay alive, but Thorzain decides to cancel and lift off to save it for a better day. And now Moon's gotta be careful, doesn't want to overextend. He picks off another tank, and 3 tanks more have fallen. Oh my god. And yeah, I think Moon might just be running away with this, even though he's only on almost to be 4 bases. You know, he's just killed off too many tanks this game. And Thorzain, oh no, the watertight bulkhead has been breached, and the Zerglings are inside. I don't know if you can deal with this at this point. I mean, like, this is going to stop all reinforcements for a very long time until Thorzain handles it. And I mean, handle it. And he just lost the PF because he was just too distracted. Now, Infested Terran's coming in, I guess trying to tell the other Marines to defect over to the Zerg side. Come on and join me or die. And Thorzain says GG. It's just way too much to handle. And, you know, I think losing all those tanks was the biggest cause of his loss. And 15,000 resources lost against 12,000 against the Zerg is just not gonna be a winning situation for Terran ever. So, really good game right there, actually, by both these guys. High level, and this is a best of 5, so I hope you guys are excited because we've got the next game coming up after this. If you guys like what you see, make sure to follow me. I'm on YouTube at HDStarcraft, and I'm also at Facebook and Twitter as well. I'll see you guys in the next cast, and this is HDStarcraft signing out.